as you offer thought about a general subject. Oh, let us start in another place. You have heard us undoubtedly on many occasions offer the analogy of the small ball of twine that is spliced into a bigger rope, that is spliced into a bigger rope, that is spliced into a bigger rope, that is spliced into a bigger rope. This is the way your thoughts dovetail one into another. And so let us say that you have a general feeling of well-being. That general feeling of well-being has to do with lots of ropes that you've been pulling on. Let us say that you have a pointed feeling of tremendous enthusiasm. That's usually because you've pulled on one specific thought long enough that this one specific thought has been empowered by your attention to it, and now you have tremendous enthusiasm regarding that one specific topic. Most of you don't allow yourself to pull on any thought long enough to ever make it very powerful. You have been trained to be so objective, you flip-flop. You think about this, you think about that, you think about too many topics, and you flip-flop about the having and the lack, the having and the lack.
So what would that leave? A life of more or less sameness?
Mundaneness. What that produces is a life where physical action is absolutely required to get by. That's what we call a life of banging it out, because you never amass any power of the universe to assist you, so no miracles happen to you, not very many wonderful things, not very many bad things either. In other words, it's not tragic and it's not wonderful, it just is, and you must act in order to make anything happen. That's what that's about. But when you become one who knows the laws and utilize them fully, then you begin offering thought. You spend time in mental workshops where you pull on thoughts, where you pull on thoughts, where you pull on thoughts, until you empower yourself. Now hear this. Your inner being exists as a mass of positive energy. Lifetimes it took to get there, thousands of them. Your inner being is the culmination of all of this positive energy. Here you are, a physical counterpart, thinking about lack. So where are you relative to your inner being under those conditions? Without your inner being. In other words, you've severed the life. So under those conditions, you have to take action in order to make anything happen, because you're not utilizing the positive power. So you start pulling on a positive rope. You see something that pleases you and you stay focused upon it for a moment. If you have trained yourself, if you have made the statement, I want to feel good, then you'll think about that feels good, you'll think about that feels good, you'll think about that feels good. You will think about enough things that feel good that you will be in the place where you will receive some inspiration that will make you feel better. We're wanting to put it back into the context of vibration because we believe that is the place that you are ready for, that you will understand most. If you are thinking about a little thought that is vibrating in a positive place, and you are disciplined enough or not distracted enough, in other words, there's nothing negative in your experience that is harping or intruding, you're in this positive place and you stay there for a little bit, by law of attraction, it must get bigger and higher. And if you hold yourself there, not distracted, it must get higher until eventually, and usually, when you get good at it, and most of you are right there, within 3 or 4 minutes, you are at a vibrational frequency where you now have connection or interaction with all of that power. And that's when the inspiration or the ideas begin to flow. That's when the idea of put on your hat before you go into the bathroom comes to you. Before you can receive guidance from your inner being, your passageway must be open to your inner being. And before your passageway can be open to your inner being, you must be vibrating in a place that it is at least close. Now, once that happens, then all sorts of extraordinary thoughts can be interchanged, you see. We are understanding your questions because what you are wanting to do is to understand whether it takes specific thought upon a specific topic to empower it, or whether you can just be happy. And we say to you, the process of creation is twofold. One is the identifying of what is wanted, and that takes concentration. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Consider this, consider this, consider this. You do a tremendous amount of data collecting in order to make your decisions about what you want. That's one part of the process. Once you're decided about what you want, then be happy, and what you want can come in.
Okay, an example. I watched my mother and father both live through decades of misery. Decades of misery with an occasional little flash of pleasure or a moment or a second of happiness, and then it was gone again. But just decades of misery and misery and misery. But about all they ever brought on themselves was just misery. Nothing really bad happened, just miserable, 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 unhappy people. But all through it all, Daddy had a fear of cancer, Mother had a fear of stroke. Daddy died with cancer, Mother died of stroke. So in spite of all this long thing, of all this general negative, they still created their finale exactly as that one little sparky fear that went through the whole thing. Whereas in my case, I've had decades of wonderful, joyous, exhilarating life with flashes of unhappiness or pain. And I can't remember the last time I've had any unhappiness or pain. Now it's been so long.
And so it's logical to assume that you will die in joy.
Well, my desire is to die in my sleep when I'm 120, on my birthday at 120. So can I?
We'll make a note.
With option to change your mind, huh, Jerry?
After cake. I have a little fear I want you to help me work through as a practical example. Before I started out down here, I pre-paved that I would have a comfortable and safe trip. And my friends were with me. And outside of Green, where we stopped for lunch, 2 lights came on in the new car that say anti-lock and brake. And I said to my friend, look in the glove compartment and read these 2 lights to me, right? And she does. And the book says, lights may come on, get off the road, test the brakes, see if they work. Did that and it worked. And then it sort of indicates not to worry. Stop at a service station and check the brake fluid, plenty of brake fluid, not to worry. Come to Bernie, go to the Chevrolet dealer, close, go to the next GMC dealer, goes through it, not a fuse, plenty of brake fluid, brakes are working, not to worry. You're fine till you get home, probably something with the computer. I still have a bit of fear getting back in that car and driving home with my 2 friends. I've got, a ways to go. I want to feel good. I want to feel comfortable. I intend safety. I need a change of thought.
We are appreciating very much this offering, for we will liken the warning light on your dashboard to negative emotion that you might feel about something. Is the best approach to try to ferret out what is wrong, or is the best approach to now identify more clearly than ever what is wanted? And as you identify more clearly than ever what is wanted, then you become a stronger attractor of that. The action that you were inspired to did allay your fears, did it not? In other words, now think about it. Use your logic. A warning light indicates trouble or potential trouble. In this case, it says brake. If you push on your brake and you have a brake, then you realize you do not have an absence of a brake. In other words, the light is there as an indicator of possible trouble. As you are looking at your experience, that possible trouble is not within your experience. The reason that we are appreciating your bringing this forth is because it is exemplatory of the feeling of vulnerability that lies within the minds of almost all of you. That guarded feeling that I must watch out or that I must protect myself from what is wrong, rather than the inherent and much broader awareness that everything really is well. And so as you look at those lights as friends, as indicators, and you say, thank you, friend, for giving me an awareness, and I have dealt with you, and now I feel the assuredness that all is well, then you are in a good spot again.
That I am safe, and I will deal with you as a light on Monday.
Good.
I think a question that might fit in here, I don't know exactly how to... I think what I've been wanting to ask, and maybe this is the basis of the fear and the lights and everything, I really want to ask if we can... I have had experiences, I think I have, that we really can manipulate our experience, our reality. I believe that we can.
Nothing else is true.
On the spot, though.
Your experience is absolutely created by you. And depending upon your expectation, in other words, as you know that you are in control of your own experience, there are many on-the-spot experiences. In fact, that's what most of you rely on action for. In other words, if you receive a warning light, it is prudent to take action. Stop doing whatever you're doing that brought it forth, whether you are talking about a warning light on your dash or negative emotion within you. Certainly you can. In most cases, however, you prove yourselves wrong on that issue more than right, because you do not live in a universe of instant manifestation. And that is the reason that you receive guidance from your inner being all the way along to keep you from getting into situations where you can't get out. In other words, in a parachute, dropping from an airplane, you're 20,000 feet, and you realize that you left your parachute on the airplane. And so then you, as you're falling to the ground, you say, Abraham, got any good ideas? And we say, under these circumstances, you have two choices. You can go head first or feet first, but we have not much to offer you, for it is too late for you to learn to fly.
You wouldn't go so far as to say that you can make a little effort, because I think I've been doing it.
We would say to you absolutely that your positive expectation affects every segment of your life experience. And the more sure you are that everything is well, then the more you will live those miraculous situations. In other words, the more the bullet will miss you, and the automobile accident will go around you, and the can that falls from the shelf will miss you. And certainly, we would never say that you cannot control your own experience. But what we are encouraging is that you begin with thought and don't count on miracles, because that way you have a smoother, more joyful life experience. The better you get at it, the better your life goes. Haven't you noticed that? The better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. The reason that you can feel our resistance, and the reason that we are offering not full-fledged harmony with what you are speaking is because there are many who are purporting the ability to manipulate the laws of the universe, and it cannot be. In other words, if you have been fearful and feeling vulnerable for a very long time, at the last minute you cannot offer a thought and deflect it. It just doesn't happen that way. And so what happens is that those who start believing that that will happen, they end up getting discouraged and no longer believing in the processes. And we are wanting more than any other thing to assist you in recognizing that the laws are absolute, and that your best bet is to get in sync with the laws. And the best way of doing that is to pay attention to the way that you feel. And the best way of doing that is to recognize that as you vibrate, you attract, and as you feel is the indicator of how you're vibrating, and then everything becomes very simple to you. We see too many who are counting on last-ditch miracles, finding disappointment, getting really sick with something, and then at the last minute not being able to bail out with it, you see. Esther wanted very much